Hello, friends. My name is Dane Miller.
And I'm Niall Payne, and welcome to our podcast, Fuck Buddies.
You do this so strangely now. We're a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we answer questions that we find either on Reddit, Yahoo that one time, or sent in from our lovely listeners on the topic of sex and dating.
Yeah, you've done it.
That was, some might say, the perfect intro.
Yeah, I think we could just call it here. I think it is so satisfying to hear us finally nail the intro that I think that people don't want to hear any else.
I think you did say sticky-situation earlier.
Oh, I'm almost positive I fucked up my name as well. So,
what'd you say your name was?
It was just like, it wasn't a smooth. It was just kind of like a garbled mess.
Okay. I like it.
So this is good energy to start a podcast with.
Yeah. Do you want to go straight into better energy?
Yeah.
This might throw her a snotty. I was disgusted because my girlfriend used her snot as lube during a blowjob. Now she's mad. My girlfriend was giving me a blowjob and ended up with a little runny snot dangling down her nose. She proceeded to grab it and rub it on my dick. I recoiled and said, Jesus, that's fucking disgusting. She's now mad at me for saying that, saying she thought it would be hot. And it isn't cool for me to say she's disgusting during sex. She wants me to apologize and slash show some remorse. I get how she feels, but come on, that's kind of disgusting, right? I don't think I need to apologize, nor do I want an apology from her. Can't tell if I'm being unreasonable.
I think they both have points. I think it is bad etiquette to call your partner disgusting whilst in the act.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say there is an entire subgenre of porn of like super gross blowjobs, and that is one of the things that is incorporated into it. So who knows? Maybe she was like, this is things that people are into because she saw some of that. But also, I wouldn't enjoy this, the visual sight of it. So like, I get
nor
why
the slimy feel of it. Maybe I think that viscous, slimy feel would not also be good.
I think that would probably be the most redeeming quality of this.
If you didn't know what it was, maybe.
Mm.
But when you did know what it was, no.
Yes.
Like if you were blindfolded and you were like, what is this viscous slimy thing? It's like a more solid, it's like a rope of lube.
Yeah.
But maybe. But you do know. And also, I think you're being very kind, Dane, where you're like, yes, you shouldn't call your partner disgusting during the act. However, how do you not? When you're blindsided with snot lube.
Well, here's the thing: is like
blindsided with snot lube, Dan. This is a knee-jerk reaction.
But you're not the one who's going to be ingesting said snot lube. It's all part of her body.
Well, yeah, it's hers. She can do what she wants.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's not on her. Obviously, if she was gross, she wouldn't have done it, or she thought it was gross, she wouldn't have done it. So it doesn't matter. But for him, it's a knee-jerk reaction. He said it. I feel like it's pretty appropriate to. I don't think it's the kind of thing he had time to think about. It was a reaction.
No. I'm not saying, but like, I think that there is some ground where they can meet in the middle and be like, he can be like, I'm sorry I called you disgusting. It just took me off guard. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it seems like he is completely against apologizing for calling her disgusing, which I don't think is cool.
I think also she's not disgusting. What she did was disgusting.
Yeah, she did a thing that grossed you out. Again, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yums. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there are people out there who would be into this. So I'm not going to call the act itself disgusting.
Sorry. What I mean is, in this thing, from his perspective, what she did was disgusting, not her. And saying that's disgusting or whatever and not apologizing. Obviously, you're at your most vulnerable when you're naked and when you're, going down on someone and you're fucking and all that. So I imagine she took it kind of hard when in this vulnerable state, you called her, or you said that's disgusting, and she internalized that. And you could be like, I think an apology is fine. You don't have to say you're okay with getting snot on your dick.
No, not at all.
But you can be like, hey, it was nothing about you. I just was taken by surprise. Because hey, depending on what was happening, if it was like a lot of gagging and, a messy blowjob, maybe she didn't even actively go, oh, and my snot should join the party. She was probably just gathering every part of what was going on there. You know what I mean?
That's the thing is the holes that can produce liquid are so close to each other.
Say that sentence again. Can you repeat that? Please.
No, that's a one time only, man.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, this is going to be good for our metrics because everyone rewinding the podcast is going to
Yeah.
be, you know what I mean?
Well,
There's
it's
going
going to
to
be bad though because they can never get past here.
there's going to be like a 3-second spike in our metrics.
Yum.
But if there's like a hand being involved in there and it's in close proximity to mouth and nose, yeah, like I can imagine that there's probably been some snot on my dick before.
Probably, yeah. I definitely didn't notice if it was. Now the thing is, that's a different question though. Like if it's like messy saliva, everything, like I'm assuming if like snot is dangling out of her nose, it was probably some kind of like deep throating, like eyes watering kind of whole deal where like
Yeah.
the waterworks are flowing. But what if it wasn't? What if it was like a really like sensual, like slow blowjob, and then she was just like, snot rocketed right onto his dick, and just, or like she very calmly like stepped away from the dick, went rummaging, and then just fucking smeared it on.
Well, okay.
Because
So
those are very different things.
yes, I don't. I'm hoping that's not the case. But like I think it's somewhere in the middle. I don't think this. It doesn't sound like it was a complete like, oh, it happened. Oops. And it doesn't sound like she was aggressively being like, I'm gonna conjure something for this occasion. It was probably like, oh, runny nose. She probably was like, add it to the mix. But like I said, like I think this is the time where like you meet in the middle.
Yeah,
And
I think completely refusing to apologize is unreasonable. He says, "Can't tell if I'm being unreasonable. I get how she feels. If you get how she feels, then fucking apologize because how she
yeah,
feels is presumably self-conscious that you called her disgusting during sex, which I don't think anybody wants to hear, unless you're like jokingly farting on someone or something. I don't know.
or it's there's degradation kinks and
Okay,
stuff like
very
that.
true. So yeah, by all means, make sure that she knows you don't find her disgusting.
You can also set boundaries. Be like, hey, in the future, I'm not really into that. Like mouth juices are kind of like the only juice I want during a
Mhm.
blowjob.
Yeah, that's the thing. You get to now get a list of bodily fluids, especially the holes that produce fluids that are clustered close together. And you get to just make a little Venn diagram of the ones you want, the ones you don't want, and the ones that are okay to get smeared on your dick.
Yeah,
So there you go. Have a
all of
chat. Fucking apologize.
all of the bodily humors that you're okay with on
Yum,
your
yum, yum. Bile. That's the only humor I can think of right now. Blood, bile.
blood. I think is poop also one of them. I think poop's
Probably.
one of them.
Let's move on.
Sorry, I forgot that I opened this up, and now I'm tempted to read it. I can't remember if I did this, so stop me if it sounds familiar. Although I really don't think you would be able to tell. I still get emotional and tear up sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
When I heard a song on the radio today, I thought about my ex. He didn't treat me right, but we had some good times. Hugging, twirling around the kitchen. Most of the times, he holds my hands. When he hugs my waist, when I give him food. Just when he's happy from something I did, I'm happy. The time I gave him a spoonful of cheese, he was like, wow. And I treated him.
Wow, a spoonful of cheese.
The time I gave him a spoonful of cheese, he was like,
Oh.
wow. And I treated him. He was happy. He told me he didn't have. Oh, he was happy. And he told me I didn't have to, but I really wanted to. It hurts me the times he told me he wants to find someone else, because I think I did love him. I clung on to him very hard. He gets mad at me when I eat too much. Oh my god. I forgot how hard it is to read these. He gets mad at me when I eat too much, or doesn't know to do things. I had a point of clarity. He isn't the guy that I want to be with. I want to live somewhere beautiful with a smart and can provide for me husband that gives me a ring and wants children. Takes me out sometimes to classy places. I never knew, but I want to be a classy wife.
Oh man, you got a long way to go.
I know that guy can't give me that. And when I found out he's bisexual, it won't work.
Jesus Christ.
I don't want to see him one day getting his ass fucked. or other weird fetishes.
This person's treatment of bi people is terrible, and I don't think we've ever really brought it up.
It's sad that I loved him, but he's not the one I want to be with. Yeah, I don't know what she has against bisexual people,
Well, like
but like,
a lot of people are like this. I saw an exchange from Grinder going around recently, where, or actually, wasn't. It was about Grinder, but either way, he was like, he'd gone on a date with someone, and that person admitted that they had, dated women before, and he got home and sent them this really like message, being like, "Hey, well, you're not really gay, so when you figure it out, like, don't even bother." Blah blah blah. And then a bunch of people were like, "Hey, I'm really glad you broke up," and he was like, "Thanks." They're like, "Yeah, because you suck." They deserve better, and it's tough for bi people out there, and this whole like, you don't count as straight. I'm scared you're gonna go explore the rest of your sexuality is so fucking dumb. It's like,
it's also, there's also like this fear that like, because people are attracted to both, like,
mhm.
for this, in this example, almost exactly, where she's like, oh, if he's with me, I don't want to come home one day and see him getting fucked in the ass, as if like bi people can't control themselves, like
Yeah,
as
or
if
can't be loyal, right? It's
they're
like the
all
same.
just sexual deviants because they are attracted to both men and women, that like the second the opportunity arises, they gotta fucking get it.
It's really weird because it's as if like, I don't have to worry about women if because I'm a woman, but men, and it's like, I'm sorry, but they're still going to be attracted to other women too. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of the name of the game. But it's weird how just like that mental like leap of like, oh shit, also men, like, ugh.
Yeah,
Anyway,
there's
sorry,
this
that's just the
weird
whole
like,
thing. Don't be shit to the bi people in your life, guys. Like,
if you have a bi friend,
get a spoonful of cheese.
just get a spoonful of cheese for him.
Oh man, I love, like, it's actually this really weird experience listening to Better Batch speak, because it's almost like every time you're on board with the sentence, it changes. It's like my brain is like weirdly like trying to catch up with the leap. So I'm like, okay, we're on the cheese. Oh, okay, we're clinging. Oh, there's fancy places. Oh, he's by, and it's just like, it's just a fucking trip, man. We need to
It's,
like cut.
she's, her brain is, or like her like stream of consciousness is like an MC Escher painting. You know what I mean? It's like you're going down one stairway and then you're like, oh fuck, I'm now upside down and like in a completely different hallway.
I don't even know what to say to that. I don't. Is there advice? Yeah, the advice is don't be shit to buy people.
Because let me tell you, she's gotten all the advice in the world. She's actually moved on to off of like advice subreddits, and now
Mm-hmm.
it's just like in the ranting subreddits.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess she got tired of people being like, "You need
Yeah, you need,
professional
you need
help."
Jesus. Okay, we'll do this. I'm not going to read the title. My new girlfriend has recently broken up with her ex to be with me. Oh, sorry. This is by, oh, deleted user. My new girlfriend has recently broken up with her ex to be with me. He has not taken it well, to put it mildly, and in my mind has been doing everything he can to manipulate her into staying with him. She's very sweet, and it's hard for her to say no, and I think she feels a little bit like she owes him because they've been together for 7, apparently mostly bad years before I came into the picture. He is now insisting that she go to couples therapy with him, though, saying she needs to do it for him so he can get over her. She doesn't want to, but he won't leave her alone, getting his parents and even going behind her back and getting her parents involved. She bought a house with him, and it's important for her to make sure things end positively because she still has a lot of shit to arrange with him, unfortunately. I told her I trust her to do what is right for her, and she says she really doesn't want to go to therapy and will probably cancel but hasn't done it yet. That said, I also told her I don't like it, and couples therapy would be to try and stay together, basically, and it's manipulation. At this point, he isn't thinking about her at all, and only himself, and he's basically just torturing her at this point. This might even come out in the therapy if she ultimately goes, but my strong opinion is she doesn't owe it to him at all to do it, especially if it's true that she doesn't want to. I guess then my question is, should I tell her I don't like it and I don't want her to do it? Then should she really entertain couples therapy with her ex for any reason other than trying to stay together, especially considering she's now in a relationship with me? I really want to support her, but I'm disgusted by her ex's actions. He seems to totally disregard her own wishes, take advantage of her sweet nature and tough position, considering houses, possessions, etc., still need to be disentangled. And to be totally honest, I also feel like her deciding to go isn't fair to me. It makes me feel, I don't know, hurt or insecure or something. But ultimately, I would feel horrible for what he's putting her through. I appreciate any insight or advice because this whole situation is bizarre to me. Thanks to anyone who wants to help. And this is new girlfriend's recent ex is insisting she go to couples therapy with him so he can get over the breakup.
The question asker got it right at the end, where most specifically, it is super unfair to this dude to agree to couples therapy when you're in another relationship
Mm-hmm.
is very strange. Like, the point of couples therapy is to repair the relationship. What this guy needs is just therapy. Like, if he
Also,
needs to,
like, it's not couples therapy because they're not a couple.
yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's like, if the whole point is like, I need to get over this breakup, we need to do couples therapy. It's like, no, no, no. That's not how this works. If you need to get over a breakup, you see an actual therapist, like a solo therapist, and you go to therapy to deal with how you feel about the relationship. She has absolutely no bearing or responsibility to help you get over this. It's like, yeah, in a mutual breakup or a friendly breakup, you can definitely work with your partner to sort of be like, give closure, move on, blah, blah, blah. But like, it by no means is it required of another partner to make sure that you get through a breakup okay.
Not at all. Like your own, like, again, sure, if you can get closure or if you guys can end amicably, great. But again, it's not like your kind of commitment to each other ends when your commitment to each other ends.
Yeah,
Right? Like there's literally nothing. And this person, like, he's not doing it for any other reason than to be a shit and to not let go and to exert manipulation on this person. Like there's no, maybe he's hoping he'll feel better at all this, but the only thing I think is going to make him feel better is if you guys get back together or he makes your new relationship suffer as a result of this.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, that kind of get the vibe I got off this dude too, where it's like, either he's trying to steal you back away, or he's trying to
Fuck with you.
implode your most recent
Mhm.
relationship.
I don't think
Um,
there's anything else. And the thing is, as Dane said, if it is for him to feel better or get over it, again, not your fucking problem. That's on him. And honestly, couples therapy is not going to help him with that.
no, I mean, and the thing is, like, I don't even know if I trust the therapy that, like, I'm sure this dude is probably pulling fucking strings, being like, hey, if he finds the therapist, I'm sure he's like, I really want to get back. Like, we're trying to repair. Like, I don't know if I would trust him to be honest about his intentions with his therapist. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Although,
Like,
like, what would like would it not be also kind of great to show up on your first day and when they're like, "So what's going on?" You'd be like, "Hey, so we broke up. I'm in a new relationship, and he's kind of extorting me to come to couples therapy so that he can get over it." And he's like still holding my belongings in house. Like, we haven't sorted that out. So that's kind of, weighing over me, which is why I agreed to come. And just letting, hopefully, a good therapist be like, hey, dude, that's real fucked up, or even just walking out at that point.
yeah, I'm worried that, like, the second you step foot in there, it's, you know what I mean. You've kind of entered the social contract of agreeing to this.
Hmm.
And like, because then he can play the card of being like, oh, you gave up on us, and that's another card he can play with your parents and shit.
Yeah, I want to hope that there would be a good, you know, like
I mean, like, I don't
therapist
think
that
there's
would
any
hopefully
harm.
talk his shit. I think what could be harmful is that, again, like your shit hasn't been sorted out. So maybe try to sort that out before you even agree or disagree. You know what I mean? Be like, hey,
I
look, we're really busy with this. That's all I can focus on right now. Maybe if we get this sorted, because if it does get sorted, then that's one less thing he can hang over you. And
mhm.
then you can be more free. Like if once that threat isn't there, you realize, hey, I actually really don't want to go, then don't go. And if after that threat's gone, you're like, you know what, it can't hurt, then you can go knowing that like you're willing to do this and not just that you're very scared that you're going to get fucked over.
So the way it seems to me is like, she needs a lawyer and he needs a therapist.
Yes.
Like, that kind of just seems to be the way it needs to go. And I'm not going to give legal advice because I don't know shit about this,
Hmm.
but I would maybe try to get the contact info for the therapist that he's presenting,
Hmm.
and like maybe email them and be like, hey, so my ex, you know what I mean, and do sort of the spiel that you said, but instead of going, kind of outlining why you're not going, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and then be like, if you could perhaps refer to him a private therapist, or if you offer those services, I think that would be more beneficial than a couples therapy, because I have no interest in repairing,
Hmm.
maintaining, or re-entering this relationship.
Yeah, that could be good. And especially then, like, you could probably get the details off him, being like, I just want to talk to them, vet them, see what the situation is, and then send them an email explaining the situation. And maybe they'll be able to help. Or, you know, at the very least, they'll probably be like, okay, maybe don't come because this sounds super unethical and I can't really be a part of it.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the most actionable advice I can give, other than like, yeah, get a lawyer, get your you know, owners and property, all that shit sorted out, and move on. I don't think this is a good idea. But for the question asker, I think you're 100% in the right to feel like this is unfair to you
Mhm.
if she gets bullied into going, because like, there's nothing worse than being like, oh, she gonna get fucking like realize that maybe she does want to give it another try. Like it just kind of like it's a lot of anxiety for you, and
Mhm.
whether she does or doesn't, you know what I mean. Like hopefully you can trust her and you believe her at her word and saying that she doesn't want to re-enter this, but at the same time, it's like if I was dating someone and they were going to couple therapy with their ex, there's always that little nagging voice in the back of your head being like, they're gonna get back together because that's the point of fucking couples therapy.
Yeah, I think it's fair to definitely feel weird about it because it's a weird situation. But like, I do think, it's very weird for her too, right? Like, more so, like, she's the one in the worst situation. And it's like, if she decides to go, I'm assuming the only reason she is because she feels like she has no other choice.
Mhm.
So, like, as much as it is weird for you, I would probably say, like, put that to the back of your head because, like, I don't, again, unless there's something else weird going on here, I would imagine the only way she would say yes is if she felt she had to. And if she felt like she had to, with all her like belongings and home kind of like hanging up in the air, like I get that, but that fucking sucks, for her more so than anyone else in this situation, I think. So, I guess be there and support her and understand if she feels like she has to, but also be open with your concerns. I don't think like staying the strong silent type is going to help anyone in this situation. Like, let her know that you're uncomfortable with it, in a supportive way, and try to help her come to a good, you know, a good destination here, preferably one that doesn't end up with her being bullied into going to therapy. Although, if that is the case, hopefully the therapist will do what's right.
Yeah, and also like you said, like don't be afraid to sort of stand your ground and be like, this is a bad idea. Because sometimes
Yeah,
people need to hear that. Like a lot of people deal with self doubt and be like, oh, should I do it? Should I do this? Should I do that? Sometimes it's nice to have someone kind of
back
like
you up
outside of this situation and be like, this is a bad idea. And the feel like you feeling like it's a bad idea is
is
correct. Like,
warranted. Yeah,
you know
because
what I
that's
mean?
the
Like,
thing. Like, it's hard sometimes to think out of context, and the context is your shit at risk and also like guilt over this person who's apparently so broken up. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff. It's like it's hard for you to be objective because you're in the middle of it.
mhm. Yeah, I
So,
mean, like I think that the best advice I ever get, or like the times I feel most comforted when I'm sort of up in the air about something, is when someone is definitive about it. Like I'm happy
mhm,
to like hash things out with people and like bounce the pros and cons and stuff off that. But if someone feels strongly that like this is a bad idea, I usually know that, but need to hear it from like a third party. You know what I
mhm.
mean?
Or even at
And
the
like
very least, like it's kind of the do I get spaghetti or burgers situation. It's like if someone says spaghetti, you're gonna know instantly in that moment that they say it. You're gonna be like hell yeah, or you're gonna be like actually, I want that burger.
I love that I
So
know this as like the coin toss method, and every time you reference it, you always like related to like two different kind of foods,
yep, I'm a
and I
hungry
loved it.
boy.
I know.
All right, you ready for another
Yes.
one that you're gonna give me?
Talking to a new guy when he said he'll take me home. Full memories of my ex came back. It was the purest with my ex, even though it wasn't pure in the end. No, I'm not going to read.
Oh, I was so excited for just
Just kidding.
half.
Memories of my ex and I playing around in bed, non sexually.
Just
I
chest.
loved him, and it hurt the most when he infected me and broke up with me when I was in the hospital. I still remember that. It still makes me tear up.
Man, that's a bold move.
When he told me if I was pregnant, he will leave, I was very sad. I know he's dumb, so he won't have a smart child, but it's still his child. I really let my ex have me, but I don't trust him because he's harmful. I wish I didn't love my ex because there's no point. We will never get back. It's tiring. I don't want to.
Have you tried couples counseling?
The thing is, like, I don't know why she's saying she's having a kid. Like, this has been going on for like 2 years now, and
Mhm.
she's never mentioned a child or pregnancy.
I would just love to know. And even there, it doesn't really seem like she said that she was, just that he said he'd break up if she was. But like, then went on about her dumb, dumb future child. Um,
I keep having
as
dreams of my ex. The last one, I was living in his house for 2 years, and he was away. I was mad at him for being gone for so long. He sat on his bed, and I walked towards him. I sat on top of him, like how we used to. I told him I missed him, and asked, did he get rid of the disease? Because I know I did. I know I love this man, but because he can't give me my needs, I will resent him and look elsewhere. He doesn't love me. It bothered me for a long time, but now it doesn't. Because I felt love when he was silent. This, it's not enough for a lifetime, though. It takes two to give and take.
So beautiful.
I have crazy dreams of my ex fucking someone I find as an attractive woman. My ex is combined with two other cheating exes into him. So they were all in his soul, three cheaters in one. Okay, I'm done with Better Bitch. Do you want an actual question? Or do you want to? Did I use my slot for Better
I
Bitch?
don't know. If you got one you want to do, go. I got a million.
No,
You
no,
know that.
no. You go. You go.
I see. I don't know where to go with this, but I'm gonna go here, I guess. Not sure if I was used or not. This is by N2RKIG. I've been talking to a girl from a dating app for 3 weeks. We've never met before, but we have FaceTime. Currently, both of her parents are in the hospital due to non-COVID related illnesses. So she invites me over to her house last night at 12:30 because she didn't want to be alone. I go over, but I don't expect anything sexual to happen since it's our first time meeting and her parents are sick. When I arrived, we went straight to her room and she started being flirty. Long story short, we ended up kissing and I went down on her and she finished. She then said she wanted to go to bed, and I asked if she actually wanted to go to bed since I didn't finish. She said, well, you don't have to finish every time. So she actually wanted to go to bed. We lay there for a few minutes, and she asked me if I want to stay the night or leave. I choose to leave because I can't fall asleep in other people's beds. I left with no kiss goodbye. When I got to my car, it all kind of hit me, and I feel used. I didn't expect to do anything sexually, but we did, and she got what she wanted, but I didn't. Am I overthinking this, or was I used?
It's a tough call because we have someone on Instagram where it was like, what was the hashtag? Waste his time 2020 or whatever. So like people like that exist.
Wait, what?
Remember there was that whole like hashtag thing of like waste his time 2020 or waste his time 2019 or whatever. Like so like I know that like there are women out there who do take it upon themselves to like quote unquote waste his time. But at the same time it's like I don't know. Would you have been really upset if like she blew you and then was like, okay, bedtime?
So I think firstly we need to get it out of the way that's like there's never any like you never owe anyone sex. So it's like if you go down on someone and they decide they don't want to do anything after that, that is totally fine.
Like you make the constant, like you chose to go down on them. They
Oh
gave you
yeah,
consent
exactly.
to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no owing, right? Like it doesn't matter. You could have gone down there 5 times. It's like if she doesn't want to go down on you or fuck you, that's fair. And that should never be a thing. You know what I mean? And if you're trying to extort or bully somebody into something or that's shit. So like blanket statement, let's get that out of the way. And that should just be a clean and fast rule. Like no one is ever required to do anything they don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is it kind of shit to not reciprocate for your partner? Totally. I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
100%.
girls deal with this all the time. You know what I mean? Like the amount of questions we've gone through where people will not go down on women at all, let alone in a situation where it's like reciprocated or whatever. And that's also shit. You know what I mean? And I think if it was the other way around, we would be coming down pretty hard on this and being like, this guy fucking sucks. If a guy invited a girl over, was like, hey, blow me, and then she did, and she was like, hey, what about me? And he was like, nope, going to bed. And then was like, are you going to stay or leave? We would be like, hey, this guy's a douchebag.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know?
And that's like, I don't think she's not a douchebag. Like, she gives me douche chills. And I think it's the phrase, you don't have to finish every time. Mm-hmm. Seems like there is a chip on the shoulder.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? This seems vindictive a little bit. And I think that's really, like, regardless of man, woman, whatever, I think that kind of, like, approach to sexual interaction and sexual sort of, like, transactions.
You're a shitty
unquote.
partner. You know what I mean? It's like, if you have finished and your response to them asking for similar treatment as well, finish every time, that's kind of shitty, Yeah.
Because it's not I don't want to, or like, I'm not comfortable doing it. It's not that. It's, I don't want to. And
I'm not going to. You know what I mean? Just like, nah. And that's the thing. It's like, if after she's like, look, I don't feel well, or like, oh, I'm not comfortable, totally fine. You know what I mean? It's like, that's cool. Like, again, it should never be owed, right? It isn't owed. There's no kind of like obligation here. However, being a good partner is about give and take.
Yeah, I mean it's hard not to say that you were used. I think you made a good point. Whereas like if this was switched around, if a dude invited a woman over to his house at 12:30, got a blowjob, and was like, "Hey, you want to stay or you want to go? Because I'm going to bed right now."
Yeah,
Like we would 100% be like, "Yeah, this dude like literally just called you over
to get his
to
dick
get
sucked.
off, and now wants you leave." Because like I'm assuming that it wasn't a question of like, "Do you want to stay over?" It was a question of like, "You can go now." You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I get it. I don't like to fall asleep in other people's beds either. And it's like, after something like that, like, what's really the point in staying? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, that's a real
it made
weird
it pretty
morning after.
clear that they don't want to do anything further, and you guys don't really know each other. It's kind of like you stay and it gets awkward because you either go on the basis of what they've said, in which case you don't prompt for anything more sexually, and then, like, why are you there, really? Or you don't go by it, and then you're a shithead.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I never did like, if I met with someone on Tinder or even if I met with someone in real life and got their number, I rarely did the like late night first meet booty call kind of thing
Hmm.
because I like it's so fucking weird, especially off Tinder because I'm like I don't know who you are and I don't know
Yeah.
that you are the person you say you are and I don't want my organs sold on the black market.
Yeah, or
Um
like they could just show up and be one entirely not anything like they said they were or portrayed themselves as, or two, be fucking annoying and weird. And it's hard to
and
get rid of
shitty
them,
like this. Yeah, it's
right?
100%. So it's like I had a very strict rule of like I would always meet with someone first to get a good read on them,
Hmm.
and I'd have no problem with sleeping with them that night, like on
Well,
a
that's the
first
thing.
date,
It's like if it
whatever.
goes
I don't
well,
care.
bring them back,
Yeah,
sure. And if it doesn't, then you know not to waste your time. And it's like booty calls for people you know are your vibe and kind of your level and down, right?
yeah, and like the whole like it always weirded me out when people booty calls people they never slept with before.
Yeah,
Because I'm
because
like, if I'm gonna booty call, I'm gonna go for a sure thing. Like I'm gonna go with someone that I know I have sexual chemistry with, that I know this sex is gonna be good, and that I know that like we'll be on the same page the next day.
yeah, because you want it to be fun. It's meant to be like down, dirty, quick, easy, good, not like awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, then we gotta like shit. Are they this? Oh, like fuck that. That's not fun.
No.
Yeah. Now the thing is, so I think, okay, am I overthinking this or was I used? Yes, you were used. Is it that big of a deal? Not really. Like it can suck a little bit. Um,
I mean,
but
take
like,
this as a learnable moment and be like, I won't do this to women in the future.
yeah, don't like never do that to somebody else. Hopefully, the question asker is not like that. But it sucks no matter what gender you're doing. You're doing it from or to. It's like just be a decent partner. But again, it's never owed or anything. So don't also feel coerced into it. Um, but like I don't know if you don't like how this person treats you, don't see them again. You didn't really
Yeah.
lose out. You went down on someone for a little bit. Fuck it. Like I'm sure it was fun until you realized it wasn't going to happen to you. But in the comments, it's all women saying, "Well, it happens to us all the time, so get over it." Not so helpful. Not so nice.
Yeah, this is the problem, and like a big reason why we started the show is like that's kind of the like the what's the word I'm looking for? Not atmosphere, but like the culture of people talking about sex. Is it devolves into like, well, that happens to us, or that never happens to us, or like when you go on online dating or like dating subreddits, and it's always like women have it so easy, and it's
Hmm.
like, well, no, there's
No.
different challenges for everyone, and like we're allowed to discuss what sucks and what doesn't suck and like at this point in time to be like oh it happens to us all the time so fucking deal with it
Hmm.
is bad shit because at that point it's like the rare extending of the bridge and you guys have now met and we can now sort of bridge that gap and be like yeah I hear you I understand what you've gone through now and that sucks I'm sorry and like we
Yeah.
can start trying to repair kind of the inadequacies and like sort of the the inequalities
Hmm.
of the dating between men and women.
Yeah. Like obviously, it sucks that it happens to anybody, but like this person is going through the same thing. So being like, "Hey, it happens to me a lot." Like as a girl, hope that guy will be like, "Damn, I get it," even if he didn't before, which hopefully he did, because it doesn't take a fucking It doesn't take mental gymnastics, but it's like the opposite is happening here. Where everyone's like, "Fuck you, deal with it." Ha ha. Glad it happened to you, and it's like, no, why would you do that?
Yeah, because that kind of mentality just sets to further divide and
Mm-hmm.
also breeds apathy for the things that, like, in this case, women are trying to bring into social consciousness. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the next time this dude hears about women complaining, but he's like, well, what the fuck do I care? Because it
Yeah.
happened to me and no one cared about me. So like, I'm not gonna try to fucking champion your cause. You didn't give a
Mm-hmm.
shit about me. Why should I give a shit about you?
Yeah.
And it's a bad way to look at the world, but like,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how it works. I remember getting into a conversation about I shared an article about like eating disorders within men and like how the numbers are actually like quite staggering and no
Mm-hmm.
one really talks about it. Um, and someone was just like, they said something crazy like, not enough men have died because of this for me to care.
Yeah.
And I was like, how can you, as a human being, say that there's like a quantity of lives that need to be lost,
Yeah.
regardless of like gender, race, whatever, for you to care about an issue, especially when I remember being in high school and being in like the media studies course, and like all we talked about was the image of women and the roles that like media had on women. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
that was very much in the social, consciousness, and we talked about it, and it was the Dove campaigns of being like love your body, blah blah blah, and like body positivity for women has been around for a while, and thankfully it has, and I hope it's probably saved a lot of lives because there's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more of a conversation about it. But there really isn't that conversation for dudes.
Yeah, and it sucks whenever it's brought up. It's like, hey, fuck you guys, we have it worse. Which, like, you know, the problems are
Yeah,
fucking there. Like, no one is denying. Well, people are, I'm sure, but they shouldn't be. But like that, we should all be able to work on problems collaboratively. Like saying this shit thing has happened to a guy shouldn't be, well, it's happened to a girl too. Fuck you. It's your time. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
should be like, yeah, let's all get rid of this.
the mentality of like we've had it worse,
Hmm.
like it is so detrimental to progress.
Even when it's right, you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. But like empathy is how you build like collectiveness.
Yeah.
So like if the people who have gone through it now see themselves on the quote unquote opposing side,
Hmm.
you can then start melding the sides. You know what I mean? You'll now have a bubble, or like a Venn diagram of like both the sides being like, we've experienced this
Yeah.
and we're going to work together to stop it on both ends of the spectrum.
And like definitely, I'm not saying you need to like you need to feel that kind of like connection and like building with someone who's done these things to you at all. But like if it's just a unrelated guy who's in a similar situation, like it can be all too easy to be like, fuck you, you're a guy like that other guy, but they're just a different person. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
not saying reconcile with the shitbags, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, I think the point that we're both trying to make here is let's be fucking cool with each other.
Yeah.
Like, unless someone has done something, like specifically that person has done something to you that has not been cool, and
Hmm.
you have a reason not to be cool with that person, okay, great, fine.
Yeah. By all
But
means, be not cool when not cool is
let's
warranted. Like being
yeah,
not cool is great, but when
let's
it's
be nice
warranted.
to each other.
Yeah.
And like take care of each other. Like when one of us is knocked down, let's help each other up,
Hmm.
and not look at like specific groups and be like, well, they need to be knocked down a little bit.
Yeah. You got me one?
Yeah, I got one more. I keep having dreams. No, I lied. This comes from Reddit user Slackman13. Question about stopping briefly during intercourse. For pretty much my whole adult life, I, now 55-year-old male, have stopped briefly, 3 to 10 seconds while having intercourse if I felt like I was too close to coming before my female partner had orgasmed. For some women, I'd have to do this, and others not so much. After stopping 2 to 4 times, I can typically go for as long as 45 minutes if that's what she wants. Recently married, my wife is super tight for me, so I have to do the stopping strategy to prevent myself from coming too soon. I was surprised when she told me that no man she's ever had sex with has had to stop even for a few seconds. That was so surprising to me, and I thought I would come here to ask, is what I do unusual? P.S. She almost never orgasmed with previous guys, but she does frequently with me with the help of a toy.
There's like a regularity to this that kind of baffles me in a sense, but like I get it. It's like friction, like the thrusting motion is what's, causing the friction, which, stimulates your genitals, which makes you come. So it's like if you stop that motion, you have a few seconds to like, you're kind of edging yourself, I guess.
Yeah, and I
um
think everyone has these, like, one way or the other has a little technique that
yeah.
gets
Like
a little more, gas in the tank.
I've definitely done, and I think if you just stop and do nothing, it's weird, and I really hope the guy
Yes.
isn't doing that, but it kind of sounds like maybe. But it's like if you're stopping in a way that they don't even notice, you know what I mean? Like you could just pull out and go down on her, for example.
Yeah.
You can like just go as far in as you can and like pull them in close to you and like kiss their neck while you're fucking rubbing them or something. You know what I mean? That's like
Mhm.
that like intensity is detracting from the fact that you've stopped. Or you can even make it a teasing thing where it's like you stop and you're gonna like play with their clit and like kiss their neck and like make them beg you to keep going. And
Yeah.
those are all times when you're not thrusting and you're not continuing that like, stimulation, but it's also not like, hello, are you still there? It's not like a Zoom call you think just got dropped, right? Like
Yeah, like, if you're pulling out and then T-posing and just standing there for the 10 seconds that you need to sort of, like,
um
yeah, like, but, like, I'm assuming this dude isn't just fucking, like, going limp for 10 seconds and then, springing back to life. I assume he's doing what we're talking about here, where he's, like, keeping the interaction going. And I
yeah.
don't think that's weird. I think, like I said, I'm assuming most dudes have
Mhm.
something they do along these lines.
Yeah, well, I've always heard the like, do baseball, like tally up baseball numbers or like think about your granny fucking. I've heard
You know
people
what I
say
used to
that.
do?
But
My technique when I first sort of like started figuring out how to be decent in sex,
mhm.
was I would pick a inanimate object in the room and just
Like
repeat.
your Iron Man Funko toy.
Yeah, exactly. No, it'd be like I would look at the chair and just be like chair, chair, chair to like the rhythm of my fucking,
Chur,
and
chur,
for
chur,
whenever,
chur, 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 chur,
like,
chur.
in my head, not out loud.
I bet it was out loud.
I hope not.
Man, I
Um,
can just imagine you dead, like fucking eye fucking a chair that's not even like behind her, so you can't like pretend you're looking at her. You're just like twisted right around, like not looking anywhere near her, just yelling chair
to be fair, it was usually like doggy
to be
style, so I would just.
chair.
But yes, I would usually, that was like my thing, and then like, but then, I adopted the take a second and like tease, go down,
Hmm.
just pull in close, like all the things you mentioned, like that's my bread and butter now to maybe last a little longer.
Yeah,
And I think the trick here is she's like, no man I've ever had sex with has ever done this. But then he's also like, oh, she's
yeah,
also never orgasmed with another man. It's like, it sounds like they didn't really give a fuck about it and just kind of pounded their way to completion. And like,
yeah.
that's why these dudes have never stopped, because they didn't care enough about your sexual satisfaction to do so.
That's the thing. It's like if it was the case where like they never stopped, but they always made her come, that would suck for everyone involved. But like, who fucking cares? You're the one married to her, doing something right, and two, bringing those big O's home,
Yeah. It's
those
like, I don't,
cheery O's.
my thing is like, I don't know. We might be reading too much into the insecurity of this. It might just be this guy's curiosity being like, hey, am I a fucking weirdo?
Yeah, like maybe the wife was just like interesting. Like you're the only one who does that, or
Yeah. And this guy
because
might have been like, huh, I wonder if I am the only guy. I'll
yeah,
go to the internet.
I guess we're used to more terrible questions, so maybe it is just a pure coincidence thing. In which case, one, don't fucking matter. You're the one making her come. But two, no, I think everybody has had everyone who gives a shit. You know what I mean? Or who has ever needed to last a little longer. Has definitely done something like this, some
Yeah.
kind of distraction or time buying mechanism. And I don't think it's weird at all. In fact, it's good that you care about your partner's pleasure. That's awesome.
Man, I remember there used to be, I'm sure the site still exists now, but like back when I was, you know, probably in high school or whatever, when I first started watching porn,
Hmm.
there was a dude who would literally like just haul off and slap his dick as hard as he could and it fucking made me laugh every time I saw it. Like that was his sort of like, way to stop himself from coming.
Oh no.
And I don't know if it was like an act or something, because like it would be the first like 30 seconds of a blowjob. He'd be like, "Oh, you're too good, you're too good," and then haul off and just slap the shit out of his dick for like a good like 4 or 5 seconds, and you're just like,
So like
what?
multiple slaps or just one big like,
I mean,
Bollywood style slap?
sometimes he would give him that big Singham style slap,
Oh.
but um but no, like sometimes it would be like a good like three or four just like solid taps. I used to have very, very bad sexual stamina when I first started having sex, and
Mhm.
I was always just like,
Pretty sure
is today
everyone does.
is today the day I try the slap?
Did you ever try it?
No.
I don't think I
Because
could.
but the thing for me is like pain is so opposite to my arousal,
Mhm.
that I would be worried that I would slap it so hard into like flaccidity. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's a word, but you know what I mean? Like I would go from erect to like slap and then just like wet spaghetti noodle.
You go from erect to just wrecked.
I don't remember why I told that story, but
We were
lasting
talking about, yeah,
longer.
last year.
I
um,
just I just thought it just makes me fucking laugh every time I think about it.
well, really, also slapping something brings more blood to the area, so you might just arouse yourself more.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure there are dudes out there who have done that and been like, "Well, I have found my fetish."
That's all I can think about now. Okay, got one more.
Maybe a quick one.
But this is by It's Butterfly Effect. Since breaking up a few days ago, my ex texts me about him doing the very things I needed him to do during the relationship. What does this mean? Is he trying to hurt me? My ex boyfriend and I, 25 and 26, lived together and we had a lot of arguments about him not doing enough about the house. After a few months of him not doing anything, I said it felt as if he didn't love me anymore because he doesn't seem to try, and whenever I tell him he needs to do more, he apologizes but still doesn't do anything. He agreed and we broke up. I moved back in with my parents and he stayed in the apartment. However, since I've left, he'll constantly send me texts like, I cleaned and cooked, lol. Reading those kind of texts hurt me because they're the exact things I needed him to do during the relationship. Why would he be sending me something like this? Is he trying to brag about how much better off he is without me? We broke up on friendly terms, both agreeing there was so much love there.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like this guy's just being a little bit of a shithead. I don't think he's trying to win you back, like
I
especially if he's
I
saying
think he
LOL.
is.
Not LOL.
LOL's like coy, like hee. I cooked and cleaned, like poke. Hello.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
No. I don't I think this guy's literally just being a fucking dick. And like not a real dick cuz it really doesn't mean shit, but I
Mhm.
think him just being like, you know, oh, we broke up, and it's like now he's like, huh, I cooked and cleaned. Imagine
Maybe.
that.
What if it's like self-deprecating, like, oh, cooked and cleaned, like, as in him being like, oh, finally, because I guess now that she's gone, he actually has to do these things.
Yeah.
Maybe he's finally realizing and is just being like, well, maybe that's his apology, like, cooked and cleaned, because he knows that's significant because he's never done it before.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe he's just letting you know that he's doing okay.
So how? What?
But here's
How?
the thing: the second you say "lol," though, the second you throw in that lovely, "o" sandwich,
Mm-hmm.
it's so disingenuous. So I don't
But
believe this guy's.
some people put lols in everything though. Lol
I
is it's
know.
become the most meaningless thing. You know what I mean? Like I'd love to know. I can't remember back in the day when I put it. Was it saved for moments of like high hilarity? Was I like actually considering or literally laughing out loud? Because now it's basically a fucking comma. You know what I mean? Got to
Yeah,
clean lol. Like lol literally means nothing anymore.
but it's got strong meme energy. You know what I
It
mean? Like it's
does.
so like that's why I feel like you throw "lol" at anything, I immediately assume you're being disingenuous.
I don't know. I think he's trying to be like lol MBD, but look what I did.
I think if you have no intention of getting back with this guy, I think you just throw fucking shade back at him. Just be like, "Cool, you're an adult now." You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah, or just
just
like
for everyone back, because like one way or the other, it's like that was what you felt anyway. You know what I mean? You were like, "This guy needs to fucking grow up and do things," and that's why you guys broke up. Or this guy is fucking, being kind of like a shithead to you, and you're just returning the volley.
Yeah, send him a bunch of Pinocchio memes and say, "You're finally a real boy." Lol.
Yeah, like I don't think, and like if for whatever reason he is trying to be fucking, sweet or seriously trying to get your attention, hopefully those sort of like things will have him rethink his tactic, because right now it just seems like he's kind of rubbing your nose in it.
Well, you know what? It doesn't actually matter what he's trying to do. What matters is what you're trying to do. It's like if you don't want to get back with him, it doesn't fucking matter if he's trying to get back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you
so
are
send
trying to
that
get back,
shade.
yeah, send that shade right back. Just he's in a jokey, playful mood. You could be in the jokey, playful, like, your next girlfriend will love that. Good job.
Just be like, cool, I did that for every day of my adult life. This
Hmm.
isn't an accomplishment. What are you talking about?
Maybe get him to take pictures of his food and just like Gordon Ramsay fucking tear it apart. You call
Yeah,
that a fucking salmon?
you donut. That's my favorite thing he calls people on fucking TikTok or whatever he does. Thank you very much for listening. This has been our show, and we're glad that you joined us.
It's nice to have you here. You know what? If you could just share with a friend this week, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's actually my birthday tomorrow as of recording this, so
It's
it'll
true.
be past my birthday when you're listening to this, which means you're late on my birthday gift.
Hmm.
So what I'm asking from you for my birthday is, it's super cheap. It's free even. I just
Hmm.
want you to share our podcast. Put it on your social media, unless you work as a teacher or something, in which sharing a thing called Fuck Buddies might not be cool.
Then just send it
Um,
in private to a good bud.
yeah, send it to someone who's like maybe having some dating issues, or who enjoys podcasts of the same kind of variety.
Or
If you
send
know,
it to someone who's so secure in their relationship that it's funny for them to just look at all the dysfunction around them. Because I know probably like half the people I know are in very healthy, committed relationships who listen to this podcast.
yeah, a bunch of the people that I know that are like ride or dies are like married or otherwise.
Because that's one thing that I think occasionally, like, people are like, "Oh, I'm not single," and I'm like, you don't need to be. Honestly, sometimes it's less depressing to be not
Yeah,
single and listen.
let me tell you, you will love your partner more at the end of
Hmm.
every episode.
Have you ever thought about breaking up? Just think about the one time that somebody just snotted right in the dick.
I'm not gonna knock until it happens.
Well,
I'm not.
I still got to get you a birthday present, so maybe that'll be it.
Ooh, baby.
Hmm.
If you have a question that you'd like to send us, if you are in a relationship or single and you need our advice, that's what we're here for. So reach out to us on Facebook at FCK Buddies Podcast, or on Twitter at FCK underscore buddies. You can find us on Gmail at fbuddiespodcast@gmail.com, or you can visit us on the internet at fbuddiespodcast.com or plentyofbeef.ca.
Hell yeah. Ready for some Tinders?
Oh,
Right
fuck, I
after I
forgot.
thank Josh Eagle and the Higher Cities for their song Paper Stars.
Yes, we can do some Tinders. Do we usually do Tinders after this?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't
I
matter.
don't know either. Anyway, Niall finds Tinders, and by finds I mean people send them into us of horrible online dating profiles, sometimes some good ones, and we comb them for red flags.
Ready for this? This is Jenna. Christ follower, swirling heart emoji. Content creator, star emoji. I love to create, flash and camera emoji. Love to laugh and am goofy, goofy face emoji on brand. Trending singer and songwriter on Spotify. YouTuber. I assume it's meant to be YouTuber.
Nope, that's a new social media platform. It's weird.
YouTuber.
Yeah.
Camera emoji. Like video camera emoji. Finishing a sound engineering degree, enrolled in a YouTube university, and working on getting ordained. Hell yeah. Gold digger. Not gold digger. Gold digger.
Okay.
Swirling star. Creation. Little sapling emoji. Artist, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. Esthetician, extrovert, people lover, purple heart. New single out this month with music video. Smile, smile. Not looking for someone who follows naked girls on Instagram. Big happy face. Modest is H.
H?
The letter H.
What do you think that means?
I honestly really confused by that. I'm gonna type it into
That's
Google and see if anything happens.
like, for me, I'm not into the vibe for this. This seems generally people who consider themselves
Sorry,
content creators
Jenna,
are
really?
okay. All right. This kind of stuff, it tends to be all they do, and that is exhausting to me. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like if the only sort of like, if like, this probably is the person who's like on Instagram making stories all day, and like replying to tweets all day, and it's like it tends to just be really, really exhausting for me. I know a few people like this, and I'm just like, just stop. Just like talk to me for a second, please. So those would be my red flags. Until the end with the modest age thing, that boggles me. So this is gonna get a real. This is rare. I don't usually give this score out, but it's gonna be a 3.
So when I looked up modest is H, it came up with modest is hottest. So maybe that's what they wanted to do, and then
Ran out of
Jesus took the
characters.
wheel, and they, because also the God stuff gets me. I'm not into that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, anyone super religious. Also, like modest is hottest. Like that is like I hate people who critique what other people wear. Like I know we're in a social world, and like what you
I figured it
project
would have
out,
been
blah blah
like
blah.
being modest as a person, but also the irony of like being a content creator is kind of the opposite of being modest. It's like
Yeah,
being modest is like I shouldn't bother people with my shit. Being a content creator is like, look, I'm worthwhile. And like, I'm not casting shade because we're two guys who talk into the fucking void for an hour every week and assume someone will listen. It just seems like mixed messages. I'm giving it a 1. This is Horse Girl.
okay.
So her picture is the camera roll of a iPhone. So it's just like loads of little different thumbnails of them in baffling amounts of print and often posing in front of what looks like a Zoom background, which is also them in the same clothes in a different angle. It is very visually painful to look at.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
I'll send you a picture. Actually, I'll send it to
Okay.
you right now. Let's see if this works. It's a whole experience. So
What did you just send me? Because that looks like the most virus.
it's not. You're good.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. You like that?
Is this an? Oh oh yeah. Okay.
You like that?
These are all videos too.
Well, yeah, they're all videos, all 15-second videos. So I'm just gonna get reading. Bisexual, circus tent emoji. Libra, circus tent emoji. Artist. I'm whimsical, but I take my life projects very seriously. I love to meet people to do projects with dance, studying, building, fixing. In brackets. Open to friendship, but also looking for someone to date consistently and with intention. Horses and butterflies are my favorite animals, and my birthstone is sapphire. Butterfly emoji.
You know what? Despite the nightmare that this profile is, I bet this person's probably actually pretty chill. I'm saying that as someone who's so far removed from the situation of actually engaging with this person.
Mm-hmm.
If it was actually me in the situation, I could not say no to this harder. But I'm saying if I were to bet, I bet this person would be cool as hell.
The image, like, it's literally visually painful to look at. I don't know what's going on there. So it's either the process of someone who has no idea what on earth life is or what they're doing, or is very much taking the piss out of the whole thing. One of those would be quite fun. One of those would be hell. And then
Yeah.
the profile itself is quite boring.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, but the thing is,
Also,
I
they
think it
really
only
like
seems.
horses, so I'm gonna give it a 0.
Yeah, I know how you feel about that. I feel like the profile only seems boring because of how batshit crazy the picture is.
Maybe. Maybe I should
Because
have
the
read it
profile,
out.
there's nothing really
There's nothing
wrong with the
really.
profile.
But like
You
the
know what I mean?
brackets, like studying, dancing, fixing, like what? What are you talking about?
What's wrong with that?
It doesn't make sense.
What doesn't make sense about
It's
it?
just all over the place.
No, she likes to do projects. Those are the areas that she's into.
I guess. Projects about studying? What does that mean, Dane?
Okay, yeah, you got me there. I don't know.
Right? Give me a rating.
It's gonna be a 3 for me.
And then, last but not least, we have Bella. I am not from this world, and you may not understand this.
We have a lot of people claiming to be aliens and not from the world. That seems is that a thing?
Well, you may not understand it, Dane.
That's true.
You saw the big metal monolith they found in the desert?
Yes, in Utah.
Yeah, I can only assume that's where Bella came from.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a 3. I don't know what the hell's going on. Like I said, this is why people in relationships should be happy with who they're with.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is what you could be dealing. This is the sea that you could be wading into right now. But you don't have to. Because you have that sweet, sweet person next to you.
It's true.
Give them a kiss.
Wade into their sea.
Give them a hug. And then just fucking slobber all over their genitals.
Speaking of genitals, are you ready for bad sex writing?
Yeah.
So this is An interesting one. I don't know if we'd call it a poem, but it was found on Men Writing Women Reddit, and it's a cross post from the Incels Without Hate Reddit, and the title is "I Can't Comprehend a Vagina." I was going to read this for you.
It sounds like a Lovecraftian.
Oh, you wait.
Okay.
I can't comprehend a vagina. A gap between the thighs. Emptiness. A blank space where there should be something to fill in the void, but there's nothing. Then a slit, as if someone snipped the flesh with scissors. A gooey mess once it's widened just a little bit. It looks like it's painful and infected. Flesh rubbing on flesh. A mouth without teeth. I don't understand it, but something deep in me desires it. I want nothing more than to taste and touch and feel it with every sensory instrument that I own. What's wrong with me?
Okay, so my dude. I think you're thinking of mouth and hands as your sensory instrument. Let me just remind you that hearing is a sensory instrument. So you're gonna
Vision.
rub your ears, vision,
Just
smell.
put an eyeball right in there. Like,
Like, come on, knock it off. I hate everything about that. It does, however, I was pretty spot on about Lovecraftian. He is
you,
describing a vagina as if it was some sort of eldritch horror.
which I guess it is. Now I'm wondering. He's saying, "Oh, dang! I look at the vagina. There's an emptiness. There should be something there, but there's nothing. Maybe look into dicks.
Yeah, have you heard of dicks?
Have you considered dicks? This might make you feel better."
There is an alternative to this gaping hole, and it is dicks.
Yeah. What's wrong with me? Maybe you're not straight, dude. That's cool too.
Have you? Here's the thing, though, is I've mentioned it very eloquently earlier. Is there's a lot of holes on the body.
Are these
Does he?
Are these the ones that produce fluid that are clustered close together?
They could be,
Okay.
but like, does he see? Does he look at every hole and is like, there should be something there?
Maybe he's trypophobic.
Yeah,
I don't.
like,
I think
I
that's
mean,
the
like
thing with the whole.
my penis has a hole.
Whoa.
Should
Fair.
should there be something in there as well? Are you just really into plugging things up?
Mm.
Look, if that's your steez, how you gonna hear a vagina if your ears are plugged? Huh?
You plug it with the vagina, 2 holes, 1 ear.
Oh my god, you just got to get all a person just plugging each other's holes. I hate this. Um,
Well, thank you for plugging our holes, people. Please plug our podcast
uh,
too.
yeah, thanks for letting us plug your ears
Hmm.
with our voices
With
this
our
week.
voice holes.
God, my name is Dave Miller,
And I'm Niall Spain.
and we've been your fuck buddies.
Mm.